Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent? I don't understand what's going on here. This proceeding on the lesser included offense of assault, bodily injury, married cohabitation as a Class A misdemeanor. The range of punishment is up to 1 year in jail and up to a $4,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargaining agreement with the state, the court doesn't have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
I did not understand that one.
All right, you don't understand you have a right to jury trial?
I heard it, but I didn't hear it.
All right, so do you need to speak to your attorney?
No, can you please repeat the question?
Do you understand you have a right to jury trial?
Yes, I don't
Understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition?
That's forever?
You're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand that?
I mean, yeah, but I can never for protection
You need to speak to your attorney about that. But with an
Okay.
affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent. Did you understand that?
This is the first time I heard of that.
All right, so I'll let you all step back. So
what does that mean?
I'll let you speak to your attorney about that.
I'm not allowed to have children?
Oh, you can have children, but if there's some sort of custody issues that arise, technically and legally, the court is not allowed to have you as primary custodial parent. Now, if in the best interest of the children, they determine that you will be the best placement, then they can do that. But if there were any type of custody issues and there's a person who appears to be a good parent and they don't have an affirmative finding of family violence, then they're supposed to be designated as primary custodial parent. I'll let you speak to your attorney about it. We were on the plea. So did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition?
Yes.
Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent?
Yes.
Did you understand that to be the entirety of the plea bargain agreement? I don't understand what's going on here.
But I'm not going to be able to have my kids?
I'm not your attorney. So the only thing my job is to make you understand what the plea bargain agreement is. I've explained to you with regards to the meaning of an affirmative finding of family violence, and I always give people those instructions so they will know, because many times when people enter pleas on the criminal sides, they have an impact civilly and in other ways. So with all of these family violence cases, when there's an affirmative finding of family violence, there are certain collateral consequences. One of those is you can't have a weapon. You can't possess ammunition. That's how it is in Texas. I can't tell you how it is in other states. But you can't have weapons, you can't have ammunition, and you can't be designated as primary custodial parent. So legally, you can't be designated as primary custodial parent. Those are the consequences of entering a plea, and those are the consequences of having an affirmative finding of family violence. Now, if you would like to, counsel, we can bring this back for tomorrow.
No, it's okay, fine.
All right, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have you all take a seat just to talk it out more.
I do understand it, but it's just it's a horrible thing for to have this horrible. So I understand it, but
I mean, all the cases here are horrible. They're felony cases.
I thought it was getting reduced.
It's still getting reduced, but it's still, all these cases have consequences. Whether it's being reduced to a misdemeanor or not, there are consequences that flow from felony cases and consequences that flow from criminal charges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you sit with your attorney because I want you to, if you're planning on entering a plea in this case, I want you to enter it with a clear conscience and a clear understanding. So it appears to me, and I may be wrong, I'm making assumptions here, that you didn't know the consequences civilly of entering a plea in this case. And the fact that you're talking to me about, am I ever going to be able to possess weapons? Am I ever going to have my children? That's something that you need to discuss with your attorney, and it needs to be in a setting. I don't want to say without passion or objectively, because I know these are all personal matters, but it needs to be something that's thought about with clear head and something to think about. All right. So I'm going to have you all step back. And if your attorney feels like it's best that this be taken up tomorrow, we'll take it up tomorrow. I'm here all week. All right. So just step back and discuss it with your
I
attorney.
understand it. There's nothing I could do.
All right. Just step back and talk to your attorney. So, Ms. Brown, I've gone over the plea bargaining agreement with you. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand the consequences of entering a plea with an affirmative finding of family violence?
Yes.
And knowing that? All right. After reviewing state's exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you apply for deferred adjudication. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
He has had the problems, I guess, communicating and understanding what is happening, but after explaining several times the situation, she understands everything, and we're asking that the court accept the recommendation from the state to place on deferred.
All right. What was your warrant for? In the police report, it says that when the complainant called the police showed that you had a warrant. So what did you have an active warrant for?
It had been for a failure to ID.
All right, state, can you see if there are any pending charges other than this case?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a failure to ID. Oh, sorry.
Your Honor, there's a failure to ID, and that one is for the state, would be TIC.
It's not listed in the.
This is a critical moment conviction or deferred adjudication. One means a permanent record, the other offers a second chance. But with all the confusion so far, does she really understand the decision she's making interview?
In the plea.
Judge, there is, but we can, I can tender a dismissal. I think you just give me a couple months to fill out a dismissal.
All right, thank you. All right, are you employed?
At the moment, no, I'm not.
How do you support yourself?
I'm living with family right now.
What family is this?
My mom.
All right, and Child Protective Services were called. Is Child Protective Services involved?
Yes.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. 2 years deferred adjudication. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. Well, let me strike that. The state is requesting that actually you have a conviction. What the court can do is you can have a conviction. That's what you bargained for, or either I can give her deferred adjudication.
Leave it was for deferred adjudication in the hospital.
All right, if the court were to give you deferred adjudication, if anything were to happen and your probation were revoked, you could end up with potentially 1 year in the Bexar County Jail. What the state has offered you, if you were to not do well, you could still end up with 1 year in the Bexar County Jail. So which would you prefer? Would you prefer conviction or deferred adjudication?
Conviction.
All right, court will sentence you to 1 year in the Bexar County Jail.
No, miss.
You said a conviction.
Oh, I thought, okay, I'm sorry. Oh my God, no.
So are you
I thought you
asking,
meant like on the record.
are you asking for deferred?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, with the deferred adjudication, the court could sentence you to up to 1 year in the Bear County Jail if you are unsuccessful. Do you understand?
Yes,
And up to a $4,000 fine. Do you understand?
yes, ma'am.
And are you requesting that the court give you deferred adjudication?
Yes,
All right. Court will sentence you to 2 years deferred adjudication. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with Tagai Buzu. If there are some kind of child custody arrangements that need to be made, you'll need to make those through a third party. If you wish to have contact with him, he'll have to come in to court and I'd have to hear some evidence.
It's over, but the consequences are just beginning. She avoids jail today, but faces long-term restrictions. One small misunderstanding almost changed everything. What do you think? Was this fair or too complicated?